What's up, guys? Chozo Nomad here again after a little bit more than a month-long hiatus. I've been busy with school and work and stuff, and I just haven't had much time to make videos lately. And as you guys know, KSP is quite a time-intensive game. But with 0.22 coming out here pretty soon, I gotta get myself back in gear and just gotta kind of, make something out here for you guys so you guys can get some more content and have all those goodies. So today I'm talking about logistics, and more specifically space logistics, because this is a space game. What logistics is essentially making sure all of the units and ships and whatnot at your disposal are fully supplied. In Kerbal Space Program, that usually means fuel, lots and lots and lots of fuel. I'm sure you guys have had quite a few missions where you're like, yeah, I got to Elo, or I got to Duna, or I got to this planet, and you're like, wait, I can't get back. So this is designed to prevent that from happening. My super tanker from my previous video has these little dropper tanks. That's what this is here. This is the third variant of it. You just attach these to the outside and then drop them off whenever they're no longer needed. So whenever you're trying to sync up with something in orbit, I usually target it and then wait until it is about 1/5 of an orbit from where I am. Don't be afraid to launch early. It's always a lot easier to sync up with whatever your target is if you're ahead of it than if you're behind it, especially if you're in low Kerbal orbit like my super tanker is, because you tend to start skipping off the atmosphere when you have to like kind of slink in behind it. So getting in front of it's easier, just not too far in front of it, otherwise you get a bunch of all this fun stuff to do where you gotta do some nanny and hoo-harry. Anyway, so once you sync up with it and launch about 1/5 of an orbit in front of it, you just start pushing your way through the atmosphere just like any other launch. You just have a little extra step that you have to do, and that's actually targeting this ship here. And while launching, it's important to try and keep your ascending and descending nodes in check. Otherwise, you got to burn a little extra fuel to get those things corrected once you're done, and it's just easier to avoid that. So just kind of joggle your ascending node however which way you need to keep those two in check. As you can see, they keep dancing back and forth because I keep pushing it back and forth across the little plane there. So once you start getting close to the orbit of the ship that you're targeting, you want to flatten out a bunch. That way it doesn't start sending 1/2 your orbit way off into nowhere. So what I typically like to do here is I'll just have the apoapse touching the orbit of the ship I'm trying to target, and then start messing with my maneuver node from there. And as you can see, if you do it right, you can essentially sync up within one orbit of launch, and makes that so much easier to do. And I've got experience with this, and I still screw it up sometimes. It'll take me a couple orbits, but whatever. So once you get that maneuver down node placed, you get just that one orbit you got to go around, and then you start syncing up with the ship that you're trying to hook up with. And keep in mind, when you start getting close to the ship, you're not going to slow down because you're still going a lot faster than it is. So you have to use whatever fuel from your launch stage to slow yourself down once you get close to whatever target you're getting next to. Now, the developers of KSP were very smart about this, and they actually input into the programming of the game where once you get close enough to your target, it'll swap over to your velocity and direction of momentum relative to your target versus your momentum and velocity relative to the planet you're orbiting, which makes it very nice when trying to sync up, because all you have to do is point towards the retrograde, or the one with the X on it, and start burning away until the number beneath target reads 0. So you can just take care of that. And then once that reads 0, all it is a little bit of maneuvering, trying to get yourself closer, and you drop what's left of your stage. And I like using RCS for these final movements here. I don't like using engines or anything like that when you're this close. RCS makes for great impulse engines when you're this close to a target. And it helps that I have a really big target to hit. But big or small, it's the same concept. Once you get close, just start using little impulse engines and get yourself closer. And I like, whenever you're docking, I always like using chase cam because it gives me a much better sense of which way I'm facing, which way the object I'm trying to dock with is facing, and it makes controlling it a lot easier. And then you switch to control RCS like this. I typically just click on the button beneath the staging button, the lower left hand corner. It'll have like a green little ship icon, then like a little circular purple thing, and then one more thing underneath that. You click the circular purple thing, and it switches you to either linear RCS mode, and if you hit space, then it's rotary RCS mode. I just use linear in combination with rotary RCS modes just to get myself close and line myself up and everything. And I like aesthetics, so I try and keep this thing looking as pretty as I can for as long as I can. So I try and make sure the dropper tanks are lined up nice and perfect and pretty and all that. So this guy is actually just about done. I recorded this earlier, but it is now fully loaded with fuel, and all I'm doing now is putting on a couple of like colony modules or lander modules on it, so I can start heading out to a certain planet way out on the fringes of the solar system. So, well, that's all there is to it. If you guys get any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.